Hello, my beautiful book besties. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brianna. Well, you probably already saw the title and thumbnail. We are doing a very fantasy themed reading vlog. I have so many fantasy books on my August TBR. Like seriously, this is probably the most fantasy heavy monthly TBR I have had in at least a while. Like as far back as I can think, this is probably it. So I thought, what better way to motivate me to actually read all of these fantasy books on my monthly TBR than to do a reading vlog. And it also helps that I have definitely been in a fantasy mood lately. I feel like literary fiction and romance just like have not really been doing it for me this summer, which is very odd because this spring I was in like a full-blown literary fiction mood. That is all I wanted to read. I wasn't really picking up many fantasies whatsoever. But then summer hit and I was like, now I want fantasies, which is not, in my opinion, really like the season for fantasy reading. Like I am a full-blown fantasy fall girly. So maybe I'm just getting to that early because I really do not like summer that much and I'm just like manifesting fall. Like I want all the fall vibes already. So yeah, that's my very long-winded answer as to why we're doing a fantasy reading vlog this week. I am going to try to read as many fantasy books as I can. My goal is to get 3 of them knocked off my August TBR. And the first book that we are going to be kicking off this vlog with is actually The Cafe of Infinite Doors. This is a somewhat newer release. I want to say it came out in like May or June. I have not seen anyone talk about it, but I think the premise of the book sounds very, very interesting. And it's also, I think, maybe like a dual timeline, or like one of the timelines has some consequences in a different timeline, because we have mythical Scotland long ago where a goddess's mortal surrogate dies in childbirth. Leaves behind a vindictive firstborn daughter who seethes in the shadow of her new divine sister, leading to a violent clash that culminates in the imprisonment of both sisters in separate worlds. So then in San Francisco, it is present day. We are following the female main character Marceline, which that is just like the cutest name ever. I love that. She is 23 years old. I can relate a little bit because I'm 23 years old, but she is in a very not good marriage. Her husband's abusive. She's kind of trying to get away from him. Thankfully, I don't relate to her in that way. One day after a fight, this cafe just appears before Marceline. This is a magical cafe. Its doors are basically like portals, but while we're also in like this cute cozy cafe setting with Marceline and this newfound family and trying to like free herself from her abusive husband, there is also that like curse. I don't know if it's exactly a curse, but whatever was happening in mythical Scotland long ago, there's that looming over them, and Marceline kind of has to like help save the world. So I think that this fantasy sounds super cool. I just think it sounds like a very, very unique premise, and I'm really hoping that I love it. So this is going to be the first fantasy book we start in today's video. I'll see you back in a little bit after I get this started and have some of my first thoughts ready. Literally, the first page of the book talks about the mortal surrogate, I'm guessing, giving birth to a breech baby, meaning the baby's coming feet first. Honestly, don't know if that's the best thing for me to read right now, but I'll get through it. I got a little bit carried away, honestly. Just didn't really want to put the book down, so I did get a little bit further than I intended to before. I was planning on giving a little reading update and my first impressions, first thought. Obviously, first impressions are pretty good if I couldn't put the book down, and honestly, I'm 160 pages in and I don't want to put the book down. but this is probably going to be my stopping point for the day, just because I do have other responsibilities to attend to now for the rest of the day, and then it'll be quality time with my husband when he's home from work, and then getting ready for bed, nighttime routine, all that jazz. But before that, I did just wanted to give you an update on the book. You guys kind of saw my first impressions with that first chapter, because that was a little graphic and maybe a little bit traumatizing to a pregnant woman who is going to have to give birth in a few months. That was Scotland long ago, so I don't think I'll have to worry about what happened to the mother in that chapter. But I feel like even though it is such a just like jarring first chapter, it obviously grabs your attention and kind of like sets up for the book and is like a catalyst in a way for the rest of the book and kind of what's to come with that character that we see. So first impressions, it had me gripped. Kind of in a like, this is so terrible, I want to look away, but I can't, just because of the nature of what was happening in that scene. Then we got to meet Marceline, who is our female main character, and poor Marceline. Like, she is in this marriage, she's married to an older guy, she's been married to him for 5 years, literally since she was 18. She has been married to this man. I think she said he was 25 when they got married, and she was 18. I don't like that. I don't like that, Marceline. I'm sorry. Basically, this guy, her husband, is the biggest piece of garbage. He doesn't physically abuse her, but he abuses her in every other way. Emotionally, verbally, he's very controlling, he's very manipulative, he's like financially abusive, he doesn't let her have friends, he won't let her get a job, and he's trying to baby trap her. So literally the biggest like narcissistic ass that I have read about. And Marceline, like, I do feel bad for her, but it's like she just stays with him because this is all she knows. Like, he has isolated her. She doesn't really have any family left. He basically isolated her from all her friends. He doesn't let her get a job to like go meet coworkers and make new friends. He doesn't let her drive. So like, she's just trapped in their home all day long. All that she gets is a grocery allowance. She hardly has enough money for the bus. One night after a very bad fight, he literally like kicks her out of the car in the pouring rain on a sketchy street. But thankfully, this cafe kind of finds her. When she gets into the cafe, all of the people working there are very helpful. There's definitely some like magic in the air. But guess what? She goes back to her husband. But she does start working at this cafe behind his back in secret, so love you for that, Marceline. And she is becoming friends with like her coworkers there at the cafe. But the cafe does have a kick because it is indeed magical. And basically within this cafe, there are doors that are portals that you can walk through, and these portals kind of appear to you like when you need them. So like the cafe appeared to Marceline when she needed it. So I'm really enjoying reading about Marceline and just this quirky group of people that she's working with. I really just despise her husband. I want her to leave her husband, but like I said, it's all that she knows. But like, I need Marceline to wake up and like live life for herself and not for her terrible husband. Anywho's, I could literally rant about her husband all day long. I'm very intrigued to see how like the mythical Scotland chapters and those characters are going to tie into our present day characters, because this is a dual timeline. About every other chapter we get like present day with Marceline, and then we get mythical Scotland long ago. And in mythical Scotland long ago, we have kind of two main characters, I guess. One of them is the older sister, and she witnessed her mother die in childbirth, giving birth to the younger sister. I say sister because like the mother that gave birth was like a surrogate for a goddess, so the younger sister isn't actually like related to the older sister. So the older sister like resents the younger sister for basically killing her mom, and it's following them and just like not a good relationship that they have. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how that is going to tie in to present day. So I'm definitely enjoying this book a lot so far, and I will probably see you guys in the morning when I pick this up again. Alright, I literally just finished The Cafe of Infinite Doors. This was a pretty good book to start out this fantasy reading vlog with. I'm not gonna say too much more about the plot because obviously this is a spoiler-free reading vlog. I don't want to give anything away, but this was a very, very heartwarming found family story with a lot of magic in it still. Definitely got pretty high stakes as this whole like prophecy was starting to come true, and very, very action-packed toward the end. Like I would say probably what the last like 100 pages, a lot of things are being revealed, and that is really where the action starts to pick up. And honestly, I did not see it becoming that action-packed whatsoever because it was just more so of like a cozy vibe. Like obviously, yes, Marceline is going through some very, very troubled things with her home life, with her husband, but like at its core, it felt like a cozy fantasy because she was able to like find reprieve at this cafe and start working there and start making friends. So it just seemed like a very, very cozy, wholesome story as she is trying to get away from her husband and build a life for herself. But then no, like boom, there is this magical prophecy and these goddesses like at war with each other now in the real world, and how Marceline gets tied up in that. So that was a little bit, I don't want to say like shocking, but definitely a plot twist that I was not expecting. So I did really, really enjoy my time with this one. I do think I enjoyed probably the first half of the book more than the second half, but I love like where Marceline's character ends up and all of her personal growth and development throughout the book and like throughout the second half of the book. I think I'm gonna go with a 3-star rating. I think I would definitely recommend picking this up if you want more so of like that cozy, wholesome feeling fantasy that does get higher stakes toward the end. And now we need to go pick out my next read. If you guys are ready for this, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but the next fantasy book I am going to pick up is The Poisoned Daughter by Sheila Masterson. This was my August book of the month pick. It is, I think, supposed to be like an enemies to lovers romantasy, and this is a thick book. This is the thickest book I have ever gotten from book of the month, and I've had my subscription for almost 3 years now. Like, this book is about 650 pages. Honestly, this will probably be the biggest fantasy book that I have read in a while, and I'm ready to tackle it, okay? What can I say? I am going to be doing a buddy read of it with bestie Caitlin. Let's see. A woman with a deadly kiss, a man presumed dead, a city surrounded by bloodthirsty monsters. So I'm pretty sure the gist with this book is that our female main character that we're following, she's like cursed, or I don't know if she sees it as a curse, but anyone she kisses will die. That reminds me of Jax from Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is one of my favorite series of all time, so I'm already loving that vibe. But she has to have like an arranged marriage or something, and it turns out that her husband, who she despises, is like the one person who she can kiss that doesn't end up dying, which she's not happy about because she was like, okay, fine, arranged marriage, it'll be okay though because I can just kiss him and kill him. But now she can't kill him that way. So I have no idea what to expect with this book really, but I just think that sounds like such a fun premise for a romantasy. So I am very, very excited to dive into this book. Also, I think it might just be a standalone fantasy, which seems to be so rare these days, and it's like, I think we need more standalone fantasies. Like, I would be totally cool with a standalone fantasy if it's like this thick of a book. You know, I don't need this broken up into like 3 different books across 3 different years. So if this is a standalone fantasy, I will be very, very happy about that. No idea how long it's gonna take me to get through this book, but I'm gonna try my best and I'll update you throughout the way. I have to update bestie Caitlin through the way. So I guess let's just get started. Alright, I am 200 pages into this book, which is exactly 1/3 of the way through. Well, according to my Kindle. I know this has like a bonus chapter in it, so it is a little bit longer, but my Kindle says I am 33% of the way through the book. Also, don't mind me, I'm on my exercise ball. Have to do my pregnancy stretches, okay? Sorry about it. Anyways, I am absolutely loving The Poisoned Daughter so far. Like, from the very start, it has had my attention, and I have just not wanted to put it down at all, which is unfortunate because I've definitely had to put it down. I have not had as much reading time as I would have liked, but we are getting through it. I'm really hoping to get a good chunk of it done today and then hopefully finish it up tomorrow because it is just so good and I cannot wait to see where it goes. Basically, this is a dual POV kind of enemies to lovers, forced proximity, romantasy. We have Harlow, who is the female main character, and she comes from this family who has magical abilities. And Harlow's magical ability is that her kiss is poison. So basically, if she kisses someone, they die. And Harlow kind of uses this power as an advantage. She basically like masquerades as the, oh gosh, I can't think of what it's called. This like assassin at night. She sneaks out and she finds like bad men in the city and she will like seduce them to get them to kiss her, which kills them. She's like kind of an anti-hero, I guess, because it's like, yeah, she's killing people, but like the people that she's killing are bad people. Anyways, Harlow finds out that she's going to be married off to like a rival territory. Not exactly rival, but about 10 years ago, there was this war going on and Harlow's territory didn't like aid the other territory. So now that territory kind of hates Harlow's territory. But Harlow is going to have an arranged marriage within that territory. And the night before she is going to meet her future husband, she gets sent to go lure a man and seduce him to kill him. But when she tries to kiss this man, he does not die. And like, she tries to kiss him multiple times and he does not die. Well, come to find out the next day, this man is who she is supposed to marry. So now Harlow is pretty upset because she didn't want to get married. She wanted to just be able to like kill the guy. She's supposed to find out this territory's secrets and then off with them. And now she cannot do that with her power. And then the male main character, Henry, that is who she is getting married to. And he is also like supposed to find out secrets about Harlow's family. So like they both want each other dead by the end of this, but right now they're just like being very sneaky, very intelligent with their next move, because obviously like they don't want the other person to think that they're wanting to kill them. So it is just so fun and there is so much chemistry and tension between Harlow and Henry. So I'm just loving this book. But that is my update as of right now. Like I said, I am going to try to get a good chunk through this book today. I might be going golfing with my husband, so if I do, I will definitely be reading on the golf cart for a majority of the time we're out doing that. And hopefully I just continue to love this as much as I have been already. You guys, I have been absolutely eating up The Poisoned Daughter. I am now about 2/3 of the way through it, a little over 200 more pages to go. I just have not been able to put it down. Like, I've had to put it down, like I was saying in my other little update, but I have not been wanting to put it down because it is so good. It is so addicting. There is always so much action. There's so much happening, whether it's with like the two main characters, Harlow and Henry, and like their relationship, their arranged marriage, or just like them kind of plotting things separately. There is always so much happening. I swear, like every single chapter has you on the edge of your seat, so it's like you just want to immediately start the next chapter after finishing one. And the romance, the spice, I have not read this good of spice in a long time. I always think it's so funny when I'm talking about spice in books, like my cat's name is Spice, so every single time she looks up at me, Spice, I'm not talking about you, baby. I love how fast-paced it is and how it's not like something that feels drawn out, even though it's a very, very long book. And like, I've read 400 pages so far. I still have over 200 more pages to go, but it does not feel drawn out or drug out whatsoever, because I feel like there's enough plot lines going on and these characters are never really sitting still. There's always, they're just always up to something. I'm just like blown away that this is supposed to be a standalone romantasy, which like I can see because they're covering so much in this one book, but also like that makes me kind of sad now, even though I know how before I started this book I was excited that it's standalone, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, I love these characters so much, I love the story so much, like I don't want it to be over. Like I wish there were more books after it. But yeah, yesterday out on the golf course I read a bit again on my Kindle, and according to my Kindle I have about 4 hours left of the book where I'm at now, and I really want to try to finish it today. Just again, I just want to binge this. Like it is so good. I don't want to stop reading it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it today, so we will see about that. But like also part of me does not want to finish it because I feel like after this book I'm going to have the worst book hangover, and that obviously would not be ideal since we still have more fantasy books to get off of my August TBR. But yeah, I had to come in with a quick update and just tell you I am loving this. Well, good morning. I just finished The Poisoned Daughter, and I am so sad that this book is over. Like, the 650 pages, it just wasn't enough. I don't know why I sound like I'm gonna cry. I promise I'm not gonna cry. I'm just very, very tired today. But I am sad that the book's over because I genuinely loved this book from page one. Like, right from page one, it just sucks you in. I'm so sad that I can't read about these characters anymore, but oh my gosh, we need to talk about, I don't know, I think I was like 2/3 of the way through the book when I last gave you an update. Holy moly, I feel like after, honestly, like this whole book, it's just throwing things at you the whole time, but really, after the 80% mark, I feel like it was just twist after twist after twist after twist. Like they just did not stop, and they were twists that I did not predict. I feel like recently with a lot of books, whether it's fantasy, whether it's thriller, I have been able to predict the plot twists pretty easily, but this kept me on my toes. And it's one of those books with the plot twists where it makes you want to immediately start the book over and see if you can pick up on all the little clues or breadcrumbs that are being sprinkled throughout the book, because especially with one of these twists, I'm like, I need to go back and see if I can like realize it now knowing the truth. I don't know, does that make sense? I absolutely loved this. This is definitely a bit of a darker, spicier romantasy for sure. It is not very lighthearted. Like, I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Harlow and her insane family, like, they're doing diabolical things, okay? I mean, I do love the romance between Harlow and Henry, like the whole enemies to lovers, like they want to hate each other, but they're kind of falling for each other. The tension is so good. I do not have enough good things to say about this book. This is a 5-star book for me, which feels so good to say. It feels so good to find a 5-star book because I've only had, I think, 4 so far this year. So we were due for a 5-star read, and this was it. And honestly, I was not expecting this to be a 5-star read. I mean, I don't really know what I was expecting, but no romantasy has hit like this for me lately. Like, honestly, in a long time, probably since sometime last year, a romantasy has not hit this hard for me. So I'm so happy that we found one that did. This is your sign to read The Poisoned Daughter if you haven't already. The world building is superb. I love the magic system. Everything is explained. I love all of the characters. Well, not all of them, but like the main characters that we're kind of following and who we're seeing with them. I love them. Like I said, I love the romance. I love the spice, which I'm very picky with my spice, and this, whoa. Obviously loved all the plot twists and reveals. They were done so well. Yeah, I have no notes for this book. 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, don't know how any book is going to follow that up, but Half a Soul, it is your turn. This is more so like a Regency era romantasy. It has fae in it, so it's definitely going to be like a different setting, a different magic system, different magical beings, obviously. And I think that this one will be a lot more lighthearted. Like I said, The Poisoned Daughter was very, very dark, very graphic, gory. So I think this will be a totally different vibe, and I'm totally fine with that. So yeah, this is the next book we are going to start for this fantasy reading vlog. So a little bit of bad news. I have decided to DNF Half a Soul. I got about 100 pages into it, maybe like 90 some, and I have not really been enjoying it. It's been pretty boring. I did really like the whole prologue and like set up to the book and getting to find out what happened to our main character, why she is the way that she is. And like the first few chapters were interesting enough, but then I just got so bored with it. And it's kind of hard to tell whether it's like I have a book hangover from The Poisoned Daughter or if I'm just like genuinely not interested in this. I think it's the latter, because honestly I'm not vibing with the whole writing style. Like if the writing style cannot hold my attention, I feel like that says a lot. But I'm gonna be real with you guys, like I've also been feeling just kind of like in a funk myself. Like nothing sounds good to me. I don't want to do any of my hobbies. I don't want to read. I don't want to cross stitch. I don't want to paint. I don't want to bake. Like literally all I want to do is like lay in bed, and not in an I'm depressed kind of way, because I've been depressed before. I know what depression feels like, but more so just in a like, I don't know, like I feel bored with life almost. I don't know if it's like a pregnancy hormone thing going on. I couldn't tell you. So I have decided to DNF this book. I will tell you a little bit about what it's about, what I have gathered from it so far. We are following the female main character, Theodora. When she was young, she was cursed by a fairy. Basically, like this fairy found her and he was like, hey, your mom owes us like a life debt, so we're gonna take your soul. Like she owes us your soul. But then Theodora's cousin comes to the rescue and stabs this fairy, and the fairy only ends up taking half of Theodora's soul, but it's kind of like ominous, and it's like, okay, he's gonna come back for the other half at some point, but we don't know when. That is all like that happened in the prologue, so I was intrigued. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say like that was boring, like it didn't have my attention. Like, it did have my attention, okay? I wanted to see where this was going. But then we get to like the main chapters of the book, and Theodora's cousin is going to like debut into society, and Theodora is going with her to London. And Theodora also like meets, I don't want to say like a suitor, but basically she meets a man there and strikes up a friendship with him. Meanwhile, Theodora's cousin like has this suitor, but he is supposedly like not a very good man, so Theodora is trying to steer her cousin away from that man. I don't know, just it's been very, very slow after the prologue, and this book is not very long. Like, this book is around 250 pages, so it's not very long. So it's like, if you're gonna be moving so slow for this short of a book, like, I feel like that's not the best option. Like, with this short of a book, I feel like we gotta be really fast paced, we gotta keep the story moving, you know, and it just was not moving. It does give like a little bit of Bridgerton vibes, I guess, honestly, just because it's like Regency era. I am just not really liking this. I feel like if I were to finish the whole book, I wouldn't give it any more than 3 stars. So to me right now, that is just like not worth it, I guess. So unfortunately, we do have a DNF after a 5-star read. And that is actually where I'm going to be ending this video. I really do not want to end it like on a bad note, on a DNF, but I'm just gonna be so like straight up and real with you guys, is that I am just kind of in like this funk. Hopefully it'll go away in a few days, but like I don't feel like picking up another book for a few days. I don't feel like doing anything. Like, I forced myself to cross stitch today, but did I enjoy my time with it? Not really. I more so just did it because I want to try and have that cross stitch project completed before I have my baby. So hopefully I can get back into my groove of things here in a few days. I really don't know what's going on. I hope I'm not like coming down with something, like getting sick. But at least we did have 2 good reads in this video. The first book, definitely more of a cozy fantasy, and then the second book, totally different fantasy vibes. But that's honestly why I love fantasy, is because there's such a range. Like with romance, it's like, yeah, you can have a rom-com, or you can have like a bit more of an emotional romance, but like they're all kind of the same. But with fantasy, like, the spectrum is huge. You can be anywhere. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, even though I'm sorry I'm ending it on a DNF. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps me out more than you know. Subscribe to my channel down below if you want to see more of my content, and I will be back very, very soon with another video. Bye!